Does the thought of a job interview give you sweaty palms? Are you intimidated by the uncertainty of what you will face during the interview? Have you asked yourself,
what if I get a question for which I'm unprepared?
What if I forget to highlight my best credentials?
What can I tell my parents if after I get my degree, the only job I get is being a barista at a coffee shop or asking people if they want fries with their order?
Fortunately, if you are armed with good information and a commitment to invest your time and effort into making the most of your interviewing opportunities, you can greatly increase your ability to land the job of your dreams. For the past 30 years, Tom Clark, author of Career Strategies, professor of management at Save University, and president of CommuniSkills, an international management consulting business, has helped coach thousands of job candidates on how to effectively present themselves in job interviews, which for many is the most unpredictable stage of being hired for a job. This video covers 5 topics crucial to your success: preparing for the interview, understanding the principles behind answering questions effectively, answering screening questions, answering behavior-based questions, and follow-up after the interview. 1. Research the organization. Do a web search of the company where you are going to be interviewed. We suggest putting the name of the organization into a search engine and reading what the organization says about itself and what others say about it. Search for information concerning corporate vision, motto, or mission statement, recent company history, products and services, number of employees, leadership, financials, plans for the future. Print this information and put it into a portfolio and review it prior to interviewing. This research will allow you to competently answer a frequently asked question. How did you become acquainted with our company? Also, consider if you have met someone who already works for the organization, the specific job for which you are applying, and the steps of the hiring process. This will help you prepare for potential questions with answers that are consistent with the company's values and future plans. 2. Read the job description carefully. Companies take a lot of time to write job descriptions, so examine closely what the organization describes as the criteria for the position. As most interviewers create questions that help them determine if candidates meet the most important job criteria, we suggest you make a chart on which you indicate how you meet each criterion. Next, find evidence that proves you have the relevant job experience, specific talents, and personal qualities listed in the advertisement. The best evidence is paid job experience, as it indicates someone else valued the same skills in you that the prospective employer expects from the person hired for the advertised job. For those job criteria for which you cannot find relevant paid job experience, seek out evidence that you did similar work without pay, or that you demonstrated those qualities in volunteer work or in courses you took. That way, you will have evidence to support your ability to meet all job criteria. Third, develop a complement file and example file. It is important to identify credible evidence for your answers, including compliments from others, as well as quantifiable proof of impact, such as cost and time savings, or of the wider adoption of your ideas. First, identify compliments. What others say about you is independent proof for claims that support your ability to do some aspect of the job. These can be compliments from bosses, suppliers, customers, and coworkers. It is much more credible to say,
my manager told me that the design and content of my PowerPoint presentation were the best he had ever seen, and he's going to share it with the company president,
than,
I believe I create excellent PowerPoint presentations.
The first statement is independent proof of your talents. The second can sound like an unsupported and self-serving claim. Other types of independent proof include statistics, such as,
I calculated that we saved 30 hours of clerical time when we reduced the number of locations a file could be found from 30 to 3, saving 50 hours per year of clerical time that could be used more productively.
This type of answer shows you think quantitatively and that you produce results companies want. Another way to focus on the impact of your actions is to prove that a technique you introduced is being used elsewhere.
Once I demonstrated the power of web advertising for our ice cream cakes in the Indianapolis store, management adapted this form of advertising in the stores in the 5-state region, increasing sales throughout.
4. Practice. Just as you would not engage in a sports activity without practicing first, People who succeed at interviewing invest a significant amount of time rehearsing and evaluating their answers. We suggest you practice, preferably on videotape, so you can see and hear what others see and hear. And also, practice with someone who can give you perceptive feedback. Ask your partner to look at you as if he or she were the interviewer. What would that person regard as the strengths and weaknesses of each of your answers, and how could you improve your answers to meet their highest standards? Fifth, before the interview, make sure that you have an accurate understanding of your interviewer's expectations. Call to confirm the meeting in terms of date, time, and place, including directions. If you are driving, determine a parking plan that allows you ample time to arrive at the site of the interview. Find out what appropriate dress will be, and make sure you have polished shoes, clean nails, neatly trimmed hair, knee-length socks, knee-length skirts for women, light cologne, and a limited amount of tasteful jewelry. Also, prepare an interview kit, which includes copies of your resume, a list of key information to review prior to the interview, pens, cough drops, antihistamines, mints, a Tide stain pen, grooming supplies, nail clippers, 2 pens, and a portfolio with a notepad and a calendar. Sixth, take time to prepare carefully on the day of the interview. Importantly, be on time. Call to find out when the best time to arrive would be, as you may be asked to fill out paperwork in advance of the scheduled time for the interview. If you will not be filling out paperwork, arrive at least 10 minutes early and use the first 5 minutes to check grooming for neat appearance, using the public bathroom in the lobby. Go to the office where you'll be interviewing 2 to 3 minutes prior to the scheduled time. This will show that you planned well, precisely meeting the interviewer's schedule. Now that we've talked about getting ready for the interview, let's talk about a second topic: understanding the principles behind answering questions effectively. Here, there are 5 key issues. 1, showing non-verbally that you have confidence in yourself. 2, making sure that you hear the question clearly and answer the right question. 3, relating everything you say specifically to the job for which you are applying. 4, indicating you are a leader who makes decisions primarily by putting the organization's needs first. 5, consistently demonstrating a positive attitude by using positive language and avoiding negative language in your answers. First, to establish executive presence, first work on your posture. Put your shoulders back and pull your stomach in. Walk at a moderate pace. Smile with both face and eyes, establishing direct eye communication. Use a moderately firm handshake. Sit down only when invited. Sit up straight and practice good listening skills. Second, relate all of your answers to the job to which you are applying, as the interviewer is comparing your answers to the success criteria listed in the job description. Third, as you are considering how to compose your answers, be sure that you indicate you remain calm and rational even when others are emotional. This suggests you put the organization's interests ahead of your personal feelings, a key hiring criterion.
When the customer began yelling at me, I listened to him without any interruption. Then I expressed empathy for his situation and discussed what we could do to address his concerns.
Also, own your accomplishments. If you talk about a team effort, focus on your goals, efforts, and accomplishments, as the interviewer is primarily interested in you and not as much in the team on which you served.
As treasurer, I took my position very seriously, carefully maintaining records and indicating when our revenues and expenditures departed from our expectations.
Be sure to emphasize the results of your accomplishments and its impact on the organization. Using numbers and specific outcomes is an effective method. Maintain a positive attitude. Companies prefer to hire people who put the company's interest first, and also those who radiate a positive attitude. Keep your comments upbeat. Consistently use positive language about companies, people, and institutions with which you have been associated.
I was impressed with your commitment to doubling sales every 10 years.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule today. I'm excited to share my credentials with you.
Use words that communicate positive images, such as,
I take my work seriously.
I prepare well for tasks.
I took charge of a challenging situation.
I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to meet company goals.
Avoid interrupting, contradicting, or disagreeing with the interviewer. Avoid negative words, such as frustrated, bored, problems, and weak phrases, such as,
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that.
I hope to be successful.
I think I performed well.
see how much more proactive you sound if you substitute positive words such as importantly and significantly in place of negative words such as but, yet, and however. Most interviewers ask a consistent set of questions to all applicants. These are known as screening questions, as they are predictable and easy to prepare for. The key to answering these is to remember that your answers must be only about you and must be clearly relevant to the job for which you are applying. A typical question is, tell me about yourself. Organize your answer around character traits. Do not answer chronologically. Make sure that the characteristics you identify are those valued in business, such as serious about work, eager to do a good job, prepares well for tasks, courteous, reliable, goal-directed, good written, oral, and social media skills.
Tell me about yourself.
My managers and customers alike have complimented me for my excellent marketing talents, including the ability to communicate persuasively, to make and sustain a positive impression through good grooming and manners, and to meet and exceed the goals my managers have set for me. For example, while I worked at Vector Marketing, more commonly known as Cutco, I was essentially running my own business. I used my personal network for initial sales and as a source for contacts for future sales. I proved to be adept at cold calling to gain and schedule appointments. I perfected my sales narrative, and customers complimented me on my courtesy and professionalism while performing demonstrations. As a result, I closed on 82% of the calls I made. And within 2 months, I was promoted to the role of advisor to new Cutco sales representatives so I could teach them the skills that led to my success.
Another typical screening question, why do you want to work for our company? In answering this question, praise the company by name and align your skills with future company goals. At the end of the answer, consider selling yourself as the right person for the job. In applying to a nonprofit, be sure to indicate you are committed to serving the people the organization serves.
Tell me, why are you interested in Fifth Third Bank?
Well, I'm impressed with how well Fifth Third Bank came through the financial crisis through excellent management in turbulent times, with its share price improving dramatically in the past 5 years. Coming from a Jesuit high school and college, I also want to work for a company with the high ethical standards Fifth Third maintains and would want to volunteer my free time to be part of the company's community engagement efforts. As a student of finance and accounting, and with excellent grades in my business communication classes, I am confident I can help Fifth Third achieve growth in its trust department. I've been complimented on my ability to perceptively interpret balance sheets and income statements, create and evaluate budgets, and understand how to create investment portfolios that meet clients' goals and timelines. I've also been praised for my excellent listening and interviewing skills, as well as my ability to translate complex financial analysis into words clients can easily understand. In short, I'm excited by the opportunities this position offers, and I am confident I will perform well as a financial analyst in the trust department if I'm offered this position.
Why do you want to work at Macy's?
Well, I'm excited for the opportunity to work at such a well-known and prestigious company. I admire Macy's as it is a longtime leader in fashion and innovation in the retail industry, including its recent expansion of its online business, which takes its business global. I am particularly excited to help Macy's expand into the emerging markets due to my experience in numerous developing nations. My experience abroad confirms that there is a great untapped market for Macy's overseas in countries such as China, Korea, and Japan, especially as Tokyo is the fashion capital of the world on that side of the globe. In addition to admiring Macy's as a leader in the department store industry, I have a positive personal connection to Macy's. As a member of a military family, I have moved every other year, and due to my travels all around the United States and abroad, I encountered only a few companies which seemed to travel with me. These companies include Costco, Target, and Macy's. Growing up in new environments with more regional stores never provided me with the brand loyalty or kept me as a continuous customer as I moved from country to country. Importantly, Macy's always provided high-quality products in an attractive customer setting and outstanding customer service. I remember going into a Macy's throughout the world and seeing employees helping out customers with a smile on their face, as well as a clean and cheerful environment, especially memorable during holiday seasons. Macy's has also been a one-stop shop in most cases for me since it offers a plethora of products ranging from clothes to cooking utensils, which has really been on my watch list as I moved out of the dormitories at college. I have had great experiences with both the employees on the floor and the customer service agents who were diligent in answering my questions or who would quickly direct me to someone who was more qualified to answer my problems. In addition to admiring Macy's, I have the finance and accounting skills that will help Macy's use past data to predict future trends and use its dollar effectively in investing in near and long-term initiatives and the international experience to help it succeed in Asian markets.
Another typically asked screening question is, tell me about your education. A good answer to the education question should be one only you can give, and it should be adapted to prove you meet the job criteria. Its primary purpose is to prove your education is highly relevant to the specific job for which you are applying. It can contain specific, relevant skills you learned and how you use those skills in a club or a job. This demonstrates you put what you learn into practice.
I have strong skill sets in marketing, sales, and technology appropriate for this position. In consumer behavior, I learned the importance of mastering the 4 Ps: product, place, promotion, and price as a basis for sound marketing decisions. In marketing research, I learned to create and administer surveys, plan and conduct focus groups, and investigate and use online sources of marketing data. In statistics, I learned techniques for analyzing data to identify the hierarchy of variables that impact consumer decision-making. I have also been praised for the use of technology, including mastery of Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. I have also used my strategic, tactical, and analytical skills in practical situations. As indicated earlier, I used these skills at work for Cutco and also my internship at Time Warner Cable. In addition, I have been elected as the current marketing club president. In this role, I am leading a team that sets weekly, monthly, and annual goals for increased club impact, including increased membership and increased engagement in the community. In particular, I am excited about our plans to use a multimedia approach in implementing our membership drive, including Facebook and LinkedIn accounts, as well as Twitter, encouraging face-to-face networking of current members with potential future members, and using traditional media such as posters and email reminders to interested parties.
Be prepared to answer a question concerning your work experience. Highlight those aspects of jobs you held that most closely match the skills required in the job for which you are applying.
My work experience is relevant to a position in public relations promoting the Harvey Restaurant Group. I have successful experience marketing both restaurants and music festivals using both print and social media. For a new restaurant, the Harvard Tavern and Grill, I used FrontPage to design and maintain a website which promoted the restaurant's ongoing and upcoming events, in addition to being a key information source for hours, directions, and other frequently asked questions. Additionally, I used Adobe Illustrator to design pamphlets to promote upcoming events. These were distributed to media outlets through both electronic sources and through the mail. With the EBS group, I designed marketing and promotional packets using Word to promote an upcoming semi-annual 3-day music festival. These were designed to attract both national and regional touring acts to Cincinnati's oldest live music venue. The packets were distributed to booking agents representing hundreds of potential guests and included details of previous festival success and press clippings, and they were designed to demonstrate the promotional and financial benefits to bands who agreed to play at the festival. In each of these situations, I was praised by my superiors who recognized my media efforts as being key to meeting their marketing goals.
Frequently, interviewers will ask you to identify a weakness. Practice your answer to this question with careful attention to how you organize it, as what is said first makes the strongest impression on the listener. Start with what you accomplished in addressing the weakness and indicate how you accomplished it. To remain positive, refrain from using the word weakness in the answer. Consider picking something not critical to the job, such as dressing for success. as dressing in business attire is something not expected of a college student, or something others see as highly difficult, such as public speaking, or something you learn to meet the demands of school, work, and extracurricular leadership, such as time management. Describe in detail what you did to improve your skill and its positive consequences.
A key reason I've earned high grades at Xavier while also working part-time has been my commitment to using excellent time management and organizational skills. During orientation my freshman year, I immediately realized that I could no longer keep all my duties and responsibilities in my head as I had done in high school. I needed a disciplined approach to time management to achieve my goals of high grades, meaningful leadership and extracurricular activities, and putting the skills I learned in the classroom into practice in the workplace. Early in my first semester, I enrolled in a time management workshop and dedicated myself to implementing the techniques I had learned. I purchased a planner and used the calendar to write down all my classes, assignments, tests, and due dates. Each morning, I planned my time to achieve short-term goals immediately and daily time as well to dedicate to longer-term goals such as term papers so I could complete research, write rough drafts, and have time to edit and revise before the due date. I also planned time for activities and for finding co-ops and internships, as well as for socializing with my friends. I also scheduled regular visits to the gym, which helped me maintain a high level of energy.
In addition to screening questions, which are largely predictable, interviewers also typically ask behavior-based questions. Behavior-based interviewing is based on personality theory, that your past behavior predicts your future behavior. That means that if you say something negative about yourself, such as you were fired from a job because you did not show up for a shift for which you were scheduled, the interviewer may believe you will be unreliable in the future, even if these events occurred many years ago when you were a teenager. To answer behavior-based questions effectively, remember the acronym CAR, or CAR. Context, action, result. Follow these CAR guidelines. First, repeat a key word from the question to signal to the interviewer that your answer will be relevant. Then, explain the context, the situation, or the task at hand. Indicate the actions that you took and detail the impact that your actions had that achieved key goals. The more impacts you list, the better the answer. Let's look at some common behavior-based questions and answers to each. In answering the question, tell me about a time you exhibited leadership. Consider highlighting that you are effective in managing yourself and others to achieve organizational goals. In your answer, show that you set goals, identify success criteria by which to measure your progress, put the plan in action, achieve goals, and have proof for your success.
I have a history of leadership success. When I was in junior ROTC, I set and achieved a goal of becoming the commanding officer of a unit consisting of 130 junior cadets. I was committed to improving our standing in annual competition of over 100 units in the Midwest. I worked closely with the staff of 15 by coaching and leading by example throughout the year. This included working after hours when not asked, as well as implementing a plan of positive motivation for all cadets, praising those who met and exceeded standards, and motivating through example and words for those who needed significant improvement. Through my coaching, we were awarded the Most Improved Unit Award in the Midwest, rising from the bottom quartile to the top quartile. I have used these same leadership skills as the marketing club president at Cutco sales rep and as an intern for Time Warner Cable, and I am committed to using these talents as well as at Macy's.
I have learned that there are 3 qualities that are critical for team leadership: leading by example, listening to the team, and motivating through positive reinforcement. One time that I literally led a team has shaped my leadership style. During my freshman year of high school, I was elected the captain of the junior varsity lacrosse team. I talked to the varsity coach, and he indicated that given I was younger than most of the other team members, I would have to first earn their respect by leading through example. I made sure that I arrived early and stayed late and did not ask anyone to do a drill that I didn't do myself. In addition to leading by example, I also followed the coach's advice to ask the team members what they thought their strengths and weaknesses were and how they would want me to help them maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. This information helped me communicate with the junior varsity coach about what players needed what types of practice. I made sure to praise players when I saw skills improve and observe their motivation rise in response. As a result, the junior varsity team improved its win-loss record, and the players thanked me for my leadership. I followed the same 3 principles in my roles as a finance and accounting intern at the company KCR, where I worked this past summer. I was assigned the task to work with a team in developing a cost accounting template for new contracts that had to be universal. Again, the same principles of leadership applied. Though I was the intern, I was assigned the leading role on behalf of the CFO and had to work with the older full-time employees on the project. I worked on the vast majority of the project myself, but I used my previous leadership experience to communicate effectively and coordinate different tasks efficiently. The end result was that we were able to complete the template 2 weeks ahead of schedule and is still being used to this day.
Interviewers frequently ask the question, tell me about a time you dealt with a diverse group of people. Keep in mind that diversity encompasses many differences, not simply ethnicity or gender. For example, diversity includes caring for the elderly in a nursing home and working with children from different socioeconomic backgrounds at a camp. In your answer, avoid cliches, such as learning that deep down, people are really all alike. Focus on empathy, listening, mutual interest, and positive outcomes.
At my internship at the MWR Warehouse Division in Daegu, Korea, I managed a group of 5 American high school students while also working alongside a group of older Korean citizens. Although these 2 groups were tasked to work together, language and cultural barriers interfered with effective coordination between the 2 groups. In order to have both units work as a team to meet company objectives, I knew I had to gain the trust of the Korean employees. The Korean culture is one that is tight-knit and revolves around a collective mentality, putting a great amount of emphasis on the authority of and respect for older employees. This is radically different from the independent mentality which the American high school students displayed. In order to establish solidarity, I began sitting with my Korean coworkers in between assignments and practicing English with them so that we could communicate better. I showed respect and acknowledged their experiences and indicated I valued their insight for how to best accomplish our business objectives at the warehouse. To help the American students adjust to Korean expectations, I both led by example and through instruction as to how to gain the confidence of the Korean warehouse team. I employed a management technique that factored in both the cultural and generational backgrounds of the 2 parties so that both could work together effectively. Due to this adaptation, the groups were able to cooperate and production increased since more collaborative responsibilities were given to the 2 parties. I was praised by my warehouse manager for my ability to achieve productivity increases based on my ability to serve as a respected liaison between the American and Korean workers.
Sometimes, interviewers ask questions to see how you have dealt with difficult situations, such as conflict or a failure to meet a goal. Be ready for questions like these. Tell me about a conflict at work or at school and how you dealt with it. When asked about a conflict, several elements are included in effective answers. First, that the conflict was successfully resolved, preferably as a win-win, and that throughout the encounter, you remained calm, were empathetic with all parties, demonstrated excellent listening skills, and sought and achieved a win-win solution.
Tell me about a conflict you experienced at work or school and how you remedied it.
I was praised for exhibiting leadership during my managerial accounting class. A group of us was assigned the task of developing a master budget for a company that we would create. 3 of the members, including myself, made assumptions that our company, a frozen yogurt business, would run at a deficit in the winter months, which would be offset by high sales during the summer months. The final member of the group did not like the idea of creating a budget with declining business during the colder months and wished to adjust the expected revenues to make the winter months look more profitable and the summer months less so. By manipulating the numbers this way, he argued our frozen yogurt shop would take less time to pay back the initial investment and begin creating a profit. To promote cooperation in this learning environment, I volunteered to meet with this member who disagreed with the others, listened to his rationale, and explored the assumptions that supported his position. I explained that budgets needed to accurately reflect reality if they were to be useful in making effective managerial decisions, and that data from publicly traded yogurt companies showed that they were profitable because they adjusted their expenses in response to predictable seasonal variations in sales and could only plan to do so if they created budgets that reflected historical sales patterns. After talking through the reasons why my figures were more realistic, he agreed with the team reasoning, and we submitted these numbers in our report along with a note in the Excel spreadsheet justifying our assumptions. We ended up getting an A on the assignment, and the dissenting member thanked me for my excellent listening skills, my courtesy, willingness to meet him one-on-one, and my logical reasoning abilities.
If asked, tell me about a time when you failed to achieve a goal, it is often best to provide an example where you failed initially and subsequently achieved the goal. This shows you have the quality of persistence and can deal with disappointment proactively.
Well, I was praised during my summer internship for my ability to work on and complete several projects with difficult deadlines. I was successful because I kept a daily work schedule allotting specific time amounts for each project I was assigned. My most important and time-intensive project was creating 4 new manuals over the course of the summer. I calculated the time it took me to finish the first few and made it my top priority to finish 1 per day until all the manuals were done by the end of the internship. In fact, I finished ahead of deadline. My supervisor recognized me at the company gathering, and the company president sent me a letter of thanks along with a gift card in recognition of my communication, time management, and organizational skills. After I finished the manual project ahead of schedule, my manager asked me to lead a team of employees on a marketing research project. As I had with the manuals project, I estimated the time it would take to finish the project based on the scope and the number of hours I estimated it would take to complete. I showed the execution calendar to my manager and indicated the project would need to continue after I returned to school. I presented him and my coworkers with the detailed plans for its completion and suggested that if anyone had any questions, they could call me at school if they needed clarification of the plan or if they had any questions about the best way to complete it. My supervisor praised my plan and my willingness to continue and to help during the fall semester.
A final question often asked is, why should I hire you? Often the best answer is because you meet all the criteria for the job.
Well, my personal qualities, Spanish language skills, education, and experience are an ideal combination of talents for the position international marketing you're offering. First, my teachers and employers have praised me for my creativity, organization, and reliability. Second, I speak Spanish fluently and have traveled to 14 countries, demonstrating that I would be effective in an international role, especially in South American countries where your company is planning major marketing initiatives. Third, my double major in marketing and international business had given me deep insight into the importance of having a deep understanding of consumer preferences and of using marketing research to customize marketing plans to the unique cultures of the countries in which the company's products and services are being marketed. Last, I have successful relevant work experience as a marketing intern in PK Management, for which I created many brochures and flyers, as well as newspaper and magazine advertisements. In short, I have the personal qualities, language skills, education, and experience for this position.
The answer will be somewhat different for a nonprofit, emphasizing first a strong commitment to the nonprofit's mission.
I have a deep sympathy for the disadvantaged, particularly in third world countries where Open Harvest serves. When I traveled to Ecuador on a mission trip, I was moved by the poverty that existed there and by the happiness my team experienced interacting with the children in urban slums, and the gratitude we received for helping their parents for the school we helped build. In addition, I have Spanish language skills, as well as my marketing education that will assure my success in the Children Worldwide services throughout South and Central America. I could also serve as a liaison between English and Spanish-speaking employees with the Children's Worldwide organization. Last, my marketing and international experience education and my practical work experience in producing a variety of marketing materials for PK Management show that I have the education and skills to assure my success in the position. As I've demonstrated in this interview, I have a heart for the disadvantaged kids Children Worldwide serves. Having the Spanish language skills so essential for success in the Central and South American regions, and have the marketing education and experience to promote the Children Worldwide message effectively.
At times, you will have excellent examples to offer and not get a question that directly requires that proof. In that case, use bridging techniques, an approach where you transition from the answer to the question asked to a related point that you make that uses your excellent example. If asked what contributions you can bring to the position for which you are interviewing, bring in examples that reflect your experiences that relate to the position, but may not come from a position directly like the one for which you're interviewing. You might go on to give additional examples to back up your statement. The most important thing to remember about bridging is that it allows you to respond to a question in a positive manner. Verbal bridges also allow you to focus on stories that highlight your skills, to move away from unflattering topics, and to have something which to end answers on a positive note. Bridging phrases include,
What's most important is,
The real issue here is,
let me add,
that reminds me.
often the statement is made, take control of the interview. That doesn't mean you try to out-talk the interviewer. What it does mean is to use every question to your advantage so the interviewer can clearly evaluate your qualifications. Bridging is a helpful tool with which to accomplish that goal. A final skill to master is asking after the formal interview concludes, what questions do you have for me? Ask questions that show you are interested in the job Asking for specific details opens an opportunity for you to continue to sell yourself to the interviewer that you are the most qualified candidate for the position. Good questions include,
What would my day-to-day responsibilities be?
What are the opportunities for training and career advancement?
What is the biggest initiative that the organization is currently pursuing?
What's the most important thing I could do to help the department meet its goals?
once the interview concludes, thank the interviewer for taking the time from his or her busy schedule to meet with you and indicate you are excited about the opportunity the position offers. Then, within 24 hours, write a thank you letter or email. It should summarize your understanding of the position, highlight how you meet the criteria for the position, and ask if you can provide any additional information to support your application. And to keep yourself in touch with the job market, visit the job site in your university's Career Services office. Tell faculty members and friends of your job objectives, and ask them to let you know if they hear of any opportunities or positions for which they believe you're qualified. So, what is the answer to sweaty palms, heart palpitations, and jangling nerves? Preparation and practice. By following the steps highlighted in this video, preparing for the interview, understanding the principles behind answering questions effectively, anticipating and practicing answers to screening and behavior-based questions, and following up effectively after the interview, you can successfully compete for the jobs in today's competitive market.